So we all know that January is a month where we're getting back to the grindstone, we're getting back to the nitty-gritty, the routine and everything. It's a bit of a depressing time, seasonal depression kicks in, all that stuff. So why not go see a really happy movie? Anything but The Revenant. The Revenant is a seriously downtrodden movie. Holy. I've never been in a theater that was that quiet after the movie ended. It took about 30 seconds for anybody to make a peep. Because it's depressing. If you don't know, The Revenant is directed by Alejandro González Iñárritu, the director of Birdman. This is more in the vein of his kind of earlier work, though, more like Beautiful and Babel. Kind of downtrodden, mystical, spiritual. It stars Leonardo DiCaprio as Hugh Glass, who is a fur trapper of sorts, and he gets mauled by a bear, which is a fantastic, beautiful, amazing scene, by the way. He gets mauled by a bear, and he's really badly injured, and he's left for dead by some of his crew. So the movie is about him coming back from that, braving the elements, and getting his revenge on the man who left him for dead. The first thing I want to talk about with The Revenant is cinematography, because this is the best cinematography you'll see this year, and some of the best that you'll see ever. Seriously, Emmanuel Lubezki is amazing. He's amazing. If you thought Birdman was a one-off or Gravity was a one-off, if you put that much thought into cinematography, like I do, every single frame of this movie is beautiful. It looks breathtaking. Every single second of this movie could be a screensaver. And not only that, but the camera movements itself and the improvisation that Lubezki does with his camera is very true to what's going on. It's a very influential device. The camera almost acts as a character to influence how you're feeling in coordination to the events. The presentation and execution of what was going on, like the effects, how the action was done, how the events-based scenes were done, were out of this world. Like, there were so many scenes that I have no idea how they would do that. I would honestly really like to sit in a lecture or something where Iñárritu spends like 3 hours talking about how he made this movie, what he did to achieve those shots. Yeah, the visual effects are some of the best visual effects this year. The sound is good. The sound mix kind of got on my nerves a few times, but the sound is good, and the makeup is outstanding. And what else? The score was really nice too. Now, everybody in the world is freaking out about Leonardo DiCaprio in this movie and how he supposedly ate bison liver and did all this, like, supposed suffering for this role, and they're like, oh, he's finally gonna win the Oscar, and blah, blah, blah. Like, it's this huge hullabaloo. And I'm not gonna sit here and tell you about how he's not good, because that's not the truth. He is very good. The biggest compliment that I can give him is that I really believed all the pain that he was going through, which is an excruciating amount. I gotta admit though, I think the hype for this performance in particular is a little bit overrated. I'm not sure if it's because people have been feeling about Leonardo DiCaprio that he's been missing an Oscar for so long now that they so badly want him to win an Oscar for this one. I don't know if it's that or if it's just a really weak year for Best Male Lead Actor, which is true. But I think that the hype is just a little bit overrated. It's a good performance, and he's definitely going to get nominated, but without a shadow of doubt, I can say that I think that Michael Fassbender's performance in Steve Jobs is better. And I feel like an asshole for saying that, just because of all of the suffering that it looks like Leonardo DiCaprio did for this movie. It looked like he really put so much effort into this movie. I don't think I've accumulated the amount of effort in my entire life that Leonardo DiCaprio put into this role in The Revenant. So I feel like a dick for saying that it's not my favorite performance ever. But the fact is, acting isn't just struggling. I can't say that I love a performance just because the person really had to struggle to do that performance. And because so much of the movie is just him like braving the elements and being like really courageous and defying death all the time, it's kind of the same note over and over, so there's not as much to see of his acting. So that's why I say that I like Michael Fassbender's performance better. It was just more layered for me, it was more complex, there was more to it. And a person can win an Oscar for playing one note and playing it spectacularly well, but I think in this case, when you're going up against Fassbender for Steve Jobs, he played a variety of many different notes and pulled off all of them amazingly well. So that's why I say that. Honestly, though, if Leo does win the Oscar, I wouldn't be surprised, because it's a pretty weak year, and Steve Jobs didn't really do that well, so I could understand why Leo would win. Tom Hardy is also excellent in this movie. Tom Hardy is an excellent actor. The only thing that kind of bugged me is the movie's treatment of his character, like the script's treatment of his character, was pretty one note. They didn't make him the best character, but Tom Hardy did a fantastic performance anyway. He really gave it his all. It was a really good performance. I think the chances of him getting nominated for Best Supporting Actor, the Oscar, are pretty low. It's a pretty competitive year for supporting actor, and I can't really say that his performance added much to the movie just because of the treatment of the character, if you know what I mean. Don't get me wrong, I think that The Revenant is a really good movie, but I do have some issues with it, and it's not on my top 10 this year. Spoiler alert. And this is my big issue with it. When some of the components of the movie, like the visual effects and the costuming and the makeup and the overall execution, are so amazing, especially in this movie, I found, when I was sitting in the theater, the parts that aren't as good as that really, really stuck out. It was hard to ignore how inadequate those parts were as opposed to the other components of the movie. And when I say parts that kind of let down the better parts of the movie, I mean mostly the script. The script was fine. It was just a little bit of a letdown because it wasn't great. It wasn't as good as the direction, and it's always awkward when one is better than the other. If the direction is way better than the script, it's awkward. If the script is way better than the direction, it's awkward. It's just awkward in movies like that. That's why writing, directing, and acting is the most important part of movies. Because if you nail all three, then you have an amazing movie. But if one is left out, then... And yeah, these are really specific notes about why I didn't really love it. The next one I have is because I was walking home and I was trying to nail down a theme of the movie. And something that I came up with were like struggling, determination, brutality, family, the human spirit. And I was thinking about it, and I don't think the movie really had much to say or make a statement about any of those themes. So I left kind of feeling like a little bit of a lack of purpose. If it honestly felt just a little bit like the purpose of the movie was to make like a really kick-ass and take no prisoners kind of revenge movie that had a little bit of a spiritual side, rather than any purpose in the story. That sounds harsh. I don't mean any purpose in the story. Don't get me wrong, I like this movie, but it's hard not to notice these when you're in a movie that is so brilliantly put together, but the foundation of it is just a little bit lacking. But please do not get me wrong, this movie is really good, and I really, really enjoyed it. I'm going to give The Revenant an 8 out of 10. What did you think about The Revenant? Did you see it yet? Do you want to see it? Be sure to check out my videos where I predict the Oscar nominations. That's going to come up soon. My video for my top 10 movies of the year is coming up soon. My video for top performances, my video of top direction. I have a lot of videos in the works that I'm planning right now, so stay tuned for that. Cool. See you guys.